All right, everybody. Ryan Charles from Nitty Studios here. Welcome to episode number 4 of the OTS, Over the Shoulder Producers Podcast, in which I attempt to take a movie from script to screen, fully through every step of the process of producing. So we're going to do a little mini episode right now about errors and omission. Okay, we've briefly covered this in a few other episodes already in how it related to those specific moments, but now let's just talk about it more in general. Now, errors and omissions, I'm sure, is something a lot of filmmakers out there have heard of. They're aware that they need to get, but they don't know the specifics of how to get it and what exactly it is. Now, in our case, there happen to be a lot of really great resources online, although they generally aren't just producer resource websites. They're usually the websites from people who actually offer these services. So over here, as you can see, we're on Film Emporium. I'll put all these links in the show notes. Errors and omissions. This basically means that you didn't mean to do it. It was an error, and we omitted it. It wasn't purposefully trying to libel somebody or purposely trying to get something wrong, but we did. And so now this insurance is going to pay that, basically, pay the claims for that. Now, who does it cover? It covers the specific policy, and you can either do short-term policies for one project, or you could do a long-term policy if you were a production company. Then you could provide a COI, certificate of insurance, for numerous projects that your production company's sort of going to be working on. Now let's hop over here to the next page on Film Emporium, where this is where you would go to get your quote, basically fill out your forms. And as you can see over here, they offer a wide variety of different E&O insurance packages. And if we click on one, let's say per project, which is probably what a lot of us are going to be doing over here, it opens up this next little page over here. And if you scroll down, you'll see that producers, errors and omissions offer specialized coverage for a wide variety of media against devastating impact of lawsuits of libel, slander, invasion of privacy, infringement of copyright, and other specified torts. Typically required when signing a distribution or broadcast contract. Your project is submitted to all eligible top-rated insurers in search of the most competitive premium. So this Film Emporium, they're going to be submitting your submission to numerous insurance companies that will give you bids, basically. Now, these insurance available for movies, short films, documentaries, reality, music, radio, television, web, training, etc., etc. And available coverage up to 3 years you can do, but you can do shorter. You can do limits of 1, 2, 3, 5 million and above. And this is what it covers: improper handling of unsolicited scripts, so clearance reports, title reports, copyright, like, oh, you didn't actually have the rights, but you made it anyway. Use of hidden cameras, that's kind of a weird one. Failure to obtain appropriate rights for music and films. Yeah, exactly. Appropriate rights for individuals, celebrities' likenesses, and if you click right over here, we'll download the blanket application, and let's just take a brief look at what this would look like. So here we go. And yeah, as you can see, insured name, entity name, are you an LLC, are you an individual, are you a nonprofit, address, production details, how long do you want it for, 1, 2, 3 years, what's your desired policy limit, what's the title, is it a music video, is it a TV series, what's the total budget, what's the total revenue, is it all yours, entirely original, is it based on something, full theatrical, film, documentary, webisodes, blah, 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 blah. You have to fill out all of this information about your production and submit it to Film Emporium, and then they will shop that around to different insurers. So if we hop over here to the Clearance Lab, they also have an E&O Insurance little page over here, what it is and why you need it. I highly recommend checking this out. But it basically just says kind of the same things. You know, it will protect you court battles involving copyright, trademarks, libel, invasion of privacy, etc. When to obtain it. This is important that Front Row Insurance, which we're gonna you can hop over into here. They have a little more details. They state how E&O insurance may be needed before the first day of principal photography. So don't think that this is something that you get during filming or after filming. This is something you get before filming. And if we hop over here into Front Row, which is where Clearance Lab was recommending going to read a little more information on this, yeah, they get even a little more specific. saying how premiums for E&O, they vary, but they basically run about $3,000 to $4,000 for documentaries, $6,500 to $8,000 for features, and the standard is about 3 to 5 years. It can take up to 10 days for it to get cleared and the coverage to be in place. So this is important to know. You can't do this too late in the game. If you are required to have it before you start filming, don't do this less than 10 days before you start filming. If we hop over here into studiobinder.com. It's a halfway decent website. They have a whole table of contents here for Producer's Guide to Film Production Insurance. It covers a lot of other things that we didn't cover yet because we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten to crewing up so we're not talking about equipment and coverage yet. We haven't talked about insurance brokers. We haven't talked about workers' comp because we're not hiring our workers yet. We will talk about these things when we get to them, but it does have a little section here on errors and omissions, number 13, it's just good to see other people's sort of opinion on where these things fall in the flow of things. So I'll link to all these things in the show notes. But before we go, I just want to get rid of these real fast and just run through a couple of little forms here. So this would be a film clip license. This would be if you're licensing a clip from somebody else's movie to use in your movie, you would need to provide this in order to get your E&O insurance. Okay, now we've got next door right over here, crew deal memo. Again, these are things that you need to get everyone to sign. And one of the things I just wanted to point out was in the crew deal memo, they actually have a publicity clause that says that the crew person, this isn't created, this is an above the line person, shall not directly or indirectly circulate, publish, or otherwise disseminate any news, stories, articles, book, or other publicity concerning the picture. So it means they can't post things from set. They can't give their opinion about the movie online. They can't write an article saying, oh, this movie's going to be terrible. So this is important for E&O Insurance because you don't want them to be able to do that. If the movie comes out and then half the crew badmouths it, that's going to probably hurt the bottom line of the profits. So the insurance company is going to want to make sure that there is a clause in there like that. Now over here we've got location agreement. Same thing. If you do not have the permit, the actual permission to use these locations in the movie, E&O Insurance is going to notice that, and distributor is not going to carry you. Now, next over here, quick claim release. So a quick claim is basically, let's say, the rights used to belong to somebody else. The copyright was in somebody else's hand. In addition to getting the actual copyright, you will also want to get a quick claim from the person or entity who held that previously, basically saying that they have released, forever quit claimed, and do these presents justly and absolutely remiss release and forever quit claim unto me any and all right, title, or interest, including but not limited to any copyright or trademark interest that I may have in or to the following, and then the property. So I had this copyright once, I had this trademark once, now you're going to have it, and I quit claim all this. So that's important to have as well. All right, so episode number 5 coming up. It's the most full episode we have yet. We're going to be diving into the actual option and purchase agreement with the writer, and we're going to be having our first guest, actually. We're going to be interviewing an actual professional writer who has sold scripts before, and just get their perspective from doing this option purchase agreement. All right, so Ryan Charles from Nitty Studios, from the OTS Over the Shoulder Producers Podcast, signing off. Until next time.